All right, welcome back. We heard Coach Jim Leavitt's analysis of the Florida-Utah game a little earlier in the podcast. Now we're going to get with Kevin Brockway, who was in the building Saturday night in Gainesville, to again get a little deeper into this Florida-Utah upset. Not really an upset, but most people thought ranking-wise upset, but a lot of people thought this was pretty much of a toss-up game, and what a game it was! A wild finish in Gainesville, and Kevin, you were there. Give the audience a little sense of the atmosphere in at Florida Field.
Yeah, first of all, a crazy atmosphere, a very raucous atmosphere, and I think that factored into the outcome of the game. The fact that it was so loud there at different points, and because of the high drama, it was the crowd was really engaged the whole way, and I think certainly the big plays from Anthony Richardson helped, right? The 45-yard touchdown run early in the game. Right. Really got the crowd energized. They're very excited to see what he could do. And then, of course, you have a goal line stand in the third quarter. And, defense throughout the second half bent but didn't break. Utah found something that worked, lining up the two tight ends and, really pounding it down Florida's throat. And, Florida's got some things to work on with the run defense in the front seven. But in the red zone, Utah 4 of 6, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Florida 3 of 3, 3 touchdowns. That was a huge difference in the game.
Yeah, like I said, you made the great point about the first drive of the third quarter. Utah goes 11 plays, run. Basically, they ran 10 out of the 11 plays, go all the way to the 1-yard line. They were fortunate because on second down, Tavian Thomas would walk in the end zone, but he trips on his feet or something on the grass. So he gets stopped. Third down, he gets stopped on a 4th and goal. They go for it, and he gets stopped. Whether he fumbled or didn't make it, we're not sure. But, they stop him. They get stopped there, and obviously at the end of the game, they have 1st and goal at the 5 to win the game in the last 30 seconds, and then Florida comes up with a great interception in the end zone. Physicality-wise, it looked like Florida was the team that kind of wilted in the second half a little bit physically. Was the weather conditions too bad, or how were the weather conditions?
I would say this, it rained on and off, particularly at the start of the game. It wasn't a heavy rain, but it was enough, and, you talk about Tavian Thomas slipping. That might have been a factor in that too, because the field wasn't ideal 100% conditions.
Yeah.
But I do think that it was a little concerning that I thought, like I agree with you, that Florida was really the team. They should have been used to the elements, and they looked like the tired defense in the second half. And I do think, time certainly in Utah's game plan.
Yeah.
But, Billy Napier in his assessment on Monday thought that they really matched the physicality. He viewed more of the issues of the run defense as being issues in alignment. Guys not lining up properly, maybe guys not containing the edge, things of that nature. He talked about how, one guy, misses an assignment in the wrong place. It can really result in some big runs. And Cam Rising had a few big scrambles too in the second half, containing him, spying him. But certainly, you look on the flip side for Florida, that worked really well for Anthony Richardson being able, his athletic ability as well, being able to get on scrambles. So I think both quarterbacks really factored into the outcome, not just with their arm, but with their legs.
Let's get to Anthony Richardson. Lots of people, now you see why so many people have him highly rated, potentially as a draft pick next year. Potentially, I've heard everything from top 10 to who knows where, but you saw the elusiveness that he showed. He threw the ball pretty well. The incredible play he made on the 2-point conversion where he spun out of the sure sack to throw the 2-point conversion. Just talk about the threat of Anthony Richardson with his legs, and he seemed to have some pretty good command of the offense.
Yeah, I thought he really played within himself. He had that one bad throw, I think, in the second half on a 3rd and 10 play that could have been intercepted, but wasn't. But for the most part, I thought that, Coach Billy Napier and his staff did a really terrific job in tailoring a game plan that really emphasized his strengths. And I think that's what good coaches do. They don't put their players in uncomfortable situations, particularly their quarterbacks. And I thought, Napier and his staff did a really terrific job with that. And I thought, for the most part, he was accurate. I thought, he had good velocity on his throws.
Yep.
And certainly, the explosiveness with the legs is the big thing. 3 rushing touchdowns, career high for him in one game. And that dual threat is going to make him, really tough. And it brings back, memories of guys like Cam Newton and guys like Tebow and those kind of quarterbacks that can do it with their arm and with their legs. And he did also, there were a few times where he slid too, though. He was smart. Jack Miller's still going to be out for another week or two. So, you're going to be facing a Kentucky team that certainly has become a lot more physical under Mark Stoops and since he's taken over. So you're going to need to be cognizant of that as well, when to make the big play. But I thought it was, a couple plays that were really fun where, the one at the end of that run where he kind of, put a basketball move, juked that safety there at the end and got in the end zone. And then the 2-point conversion where he faked out Diabate too, eluded that rush. So he brings a different element with his athleticism in the quarterback position.
Montrell Johnson, good job running the ball, 12 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown. They used 2 or 3 different guys to run the ball pretty effectively. The O-line played pretty good. Wide receivers still need some, still need a guy to step forward there. It seemed like to me on TV, Pearsall had a few catches, but no huge play. So to me, wide receiver and tight end are the places they need to see guys step forward and really become a factor.
Yeah, no question. I think, not having that, we didn't, they tried one deep ball to Xavier Henderson, didn't quite work out. Pearsall was very good on the crossing routes, I thought. And, he's a guy that as he continues to get more healthy, I think will be more of a factor. But you are missing that home run threat at the wide receiver position. Running back, Montrell Johnson, that's a nice story because it's a little bit of a redemption story. He fumbles early in the game. Could have affected him mentally, but then he came out and really flushed it. He talked a lot today about, his teammates are very encouraging on the sidelines and when he got his opportunity. And, another guy I was really impressed with is Trevor Etienne. I mean, watch out for that kid. That kid has got some elusiveness to him. I think he's going to factor in the running game. He's still 2 freshmen. But as he continues to improve and get better, I think he's another guy that you might see, be a factor and emerge here.
How'd you think Billy Napier handled the game management part of things? They went for it a couple times near the goal line, the first half, I believe, the crowd, all that stuff. How do you think Billy handled all the game management stuff?
Yeah, I think very well. And I think that, I just think his demeanor on the sidelines too, there was a quiet confidence about him. He wears the hoodie on a hot, humid night, which I thought was kind of interesting. He was the first one out of the tunnel, but I just think that he is a guy that, I think he exudes that kind of calm and the players feed off that. I think that's important. You don't want, I think there's that fine line there with coach being emotional. It's okay to be emotional on the sidelines a little bit, but you got to pick your spots. And I think with Billy Napier, he did a good job of that, just picking his spots and the game management, he's going to be a conservative guy. There was, it was pretty interesting late in the first half. There's about 46 seconds left. They were kind of inside or near their own 20. And then, Diabate lost his helmet and there was a 10-second runoff. So he just decided to run out the clock. But they had the lead at the half. And I don't think he would have tried for field goal range anyway, because I think, he felt like if he had the lead, you don't want to turn the ball over there, make a mistake and give Utah a little life. So I just think that's the way he's going to coach.
All right, so the Gators are 1-0. Got another tough game, SEC opener versus Kentucky this week. You talked to Napier on Monday. Any concerns about the emotional, being able to get back up for another big game, another home at first SEC game? What did he talk about the fatigue level or any of that stuff that had Kentucky?
He was asked about it, and I think his thing is you got to speak the truth in your team. You got to let them know that. Even though you won, I mean, he used the phrase "fortunate to win" against Utah, which shows you that, I think he feels like there's still a lot to clean up, and I think that's going to be kind of the emphasis in this week, and approaching it with a lot of humility, work on your, the things you need to work on going into this game, and then also focus on the game plan and what you got to do to shut down Kentucky. And certainly, Kentucky not having Chris Rodriguez is a big factor in the run game. I think he only ran the ball for about 50 yards against Miami of Ohio. So they really struggled in the run game without him. But Will Levis is a guy that's a pretty dynamic quarterback and another tough guy in the SEC. So it will be interesting to see how they respond this week and if they can just kind of follow that, humble mindset going into week 2.
Great job, Kevin. Good work. Again, electric atmosphere at Florida Field Saturday night. There'll be another night game this week, I believe, with Kentucky coming to town. First SEC game for Billy Napier. Were all the old school guys there with the ball coach and a bunch of guys on the sidelines?
Yeah, well, I didn't see the ball coach, but I saw, they honored Alex Brown and Reed Anthony was Mr. Two Bits. So that was kind of nice. And I think, Billy Napier does have this interesting, very open door, very welcoming policy towards former players. They can come and watch practice at any time.
Yep.
And I think that Kevin Carter even alluded to it a couple of weeks ago when we talked to him about some of the prior coaches had not been as welcoming as Coach Napier, and the former players really appreciate that. So that's interesting as well. And it's going to be they're apparently close to a sellout for this game too. According to Coach Napier, he said a couple hundred tickets left, so it should be another great atmosphere.
Awesome, Kevin. Tell everybody where they can find your work.
Yes, Gatorsports.com and Twitter at Kevin Brockway G1.
Great job, Kevin. We'll have you back on in a couple weeks. See how the Gators are doing. Give you an update, and appreciate the time, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Have a great week.
Yep.
Next up, we're going to have John Hale previewing the Kentucky Wildcats for you to give you a little sense of Will Levis and company and what the Wildcats are going to bring to Gainesville. We'll be right back.